Mother Nature gave our knees a gift, and that gift is backward.
But how do you find your sweet spot? Because it varies a ton from person to person.
Well, as we go from muscles deeper inside the joint, it becomes tougher and tougher to get the blood supply to heal. So this puts us in an active position to get lots of repetitions. We use 10 minutes of backward walking as step 1 of our Knee Ability Zero program.
And people who couldn't walk backward pain-free are getting wins in a pool, going from assisted to unassisted, and then from assisted to unassisted on land.
Then you may need resistance. A sled is ideal because you can control the level. And in the early days, Alyssa and I would find a treadmill that doesn't even work anymore. Work against its internal resistance. Stay in the zone minute after minute, thinking to push through your toes. Notice how that puts you in this athletic position, prior to which I never worked in this position with the knee over the toes. I was trying all kinds of drugs and other methods of avoidance, which would get my hopes up only to crash me down with more injuries and worse pain when I would actually play my sport. So I believe in your potential to use work ethic and intelligence to regain the activities you love with less pain and more ability. So let's recap this as a 3-step checklist. Number 1, a correct step. The idea is that if you can walk forward, if you can take a step forward, you could take some degree of a step backward, even if that was a 1-inch step. But rather than just leaning your weight, you would want the step to be going through your toes to some degree. So even if it was very small steps through the toes, if you can get into a pain-free step through the toes, you've got part 1 down. The pain-free is important because if you're pushing through pain, well, you could be causing further breakdown. And the whole idea is we're trying to gradually let that blood supply get really deep in there to heal. So if it's a pain-free step, that's going to maximize our chances of not causing damage. From there, step 2, can you challenge yourself? So that's the interesting thing about doing this, is that the more you can challenge yourself, well, the more of that blood supply you can create, the more ability you can create, the more you can get into the exact positions that you need, whether it's hiking up or downhill or playing sports. The better you get at it, the more capable you're going to get in those positions and the more chance you have to heal. So maybe for some people, you've never actually challenged yourself enough to see how much you could heal from doing this. So correct step. Okay, good. Pushing through my toes, no pain. Boom. Now, how much can I challenge myself? That would have to do with the amount of resistance and then also the speed of the step. If you were just using a ton of resistance but going super slow, that might not work as well as maybe a moderate resistance, but then getting into faster steps and getting those steps into that athletic position. For example, with the sled, you could just lean your weight back against a lot of weight and the sled would move. Wouldn't necessarily be actually challenging your knee as much. So we got them both now. Correct step, challenging ourselves. Third factor, time. Now is where you're putting that time aspect in. 10 minutes is a good mark to this day. I'll go 10 to 20 minutes. I honestly sit in here working from my phone. I might walk it out some, might start pushing it some, but I just enjoy that 10, 20 minutes. I do it because, hey, it was one of the things that helped me along the way. So it's not like I have to, but this is almost ATG cardio. The whole idea is to be able to do the activities you like that would be much further cardio effect than this. But this in itself, when I do it 10, 20 minutes, gets a lot of circulation. It is like a nice baseline cardio for me. And I do it either before a session or after a session. And this is what I do, to be honest with you. I'll just work from my phone. I set a timer sometimes. Sometimes I don't set a timer. Sometimes I just go on my phone and then I'm like, whew. I just go until I'm like totally smoked. So the context of all this is we are trying to build the strength and mobility on both sides of the ankle, both sides of the knee, and even the hips. We want to get back to more childlike mobility. But if the inside of the knee hurts too much, hasn't healed enough, well, this can be a great catalyst, a great spark to get more results out of everything else. So I did want to make that context clear. It's not like I think you have to have this to get amazing knee ability results. There's a lot of tools. A lot of people report different tools being, oh, that's the one that did the most, or this one was the key for me. But really, the way I see it now is I'm not searching for like which of the tools is better, more just understanding each one and being good at each one and being balanced on all of them. So that's why to this day, even though I don't have to do this backward, I do it more like an insurance policy. I could be doing much more difficult knee exercises, but I find better results when I just keep it balanced. At the end of the day, I'm not trying to use my workouts to impress myself. I just want my workouts to make me feel better in life, to be able to enjoy my sport. And I think this is a heck of an investment for that and the safest, simplest starting step. Thank you for watching. Thank you for spreading this channel. It looks like in the next month or so, we'll hit 1 million subscribers. I still remember starting and saying, I'll never put ad money on this channel. I just want to get the data out there. Unfortunately, you've proved me right. You've spread this ATG community. We now have our own app made by one of our original online members. All of us coaches on the app started out as ATGers wanting to help people. We don't think the data should be fancy or secretive. We're there to guide you along personally. No long-term contract, as affordably as we can. We think it should be common knowledge. We think that there's tons of amazing stuff you can do for your body. We're going to be the best we can at playing our role, which is just trying to balance the body through exercise. So thanks again, and we'll see you next week.